Junpei, Clover, and Lotus leapt out of the laboratory, slamming the door shut behind them. All three collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. Junpei's heart was pounding in his chest, and his whole body felt weak. He inhaled gulps of clean air, and with each one he could feel his body begin to calm down. All right, let's go. They nodded to each other and started off down the hallway. Before long, they found a few new doors, but all of them were locked. Soon they had tried all the doors but one. The final door sat in the corner of the hallway. Junpei grabbed the door handle and was about to pull it open when a voice cried out behind him. It was neither Clover nor Lotus, but he recognized it. There was no doubt the voice behind belonged to Jumpy. He spun around. There, at the other end of the hall, Junpei saw human figures running towards him. 3 of them. Santa, June, and Seven. They stopped short in front of Junpei and his companions, gasping for air. Hey! What are you guys doing here? What? But we didn't... Before he could finish, Clover spoke. Guys, could you come over here? She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found. There was something at the wall at the end of the hallway. A map of the ship's interior. It said C deck in the upper left corner. Most likely they assumed it was a map for the floor they were on. Door 7 and Door 8. The map confirmed they both already knew. Both doors eventually led to the hallway where they'd found themselves. In fact... Yeah, isn't that what I said? Till we find that 9 doors, 0 ain't gonna split us up. Might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we can't open door 9. That's how the nonary game works. Junpei looked at the map of the ship's interior again. Oh, man! Oh, I see what he sees. Fuck. As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to weariness. One by one, the others saw what he'd seen. As one, they moved back towards the door Junpei had only a moment ago been ready to open. He pulled the map of the ship's interior off the wall, put it in his pocket, and followed the others. 6 of them stood in front of the door, arrayed in a semicircle. Santa stepped forward. He took hold of the door and spoke, without looking back at the other 5. Ready? I'm going to open it. They nodded their silent assent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. They poured through the doorway and into the room. Even without looking around, each one of them knew where they were. They were just where the map said they would be. In the same room they'd been in not so very long ago. Fuck. The tremendous central hospital room with empty beds from wall to wall. I see. I believe I understand what you're saying. 6 of you split up into 2 teams and went through doors 7 and 8. You solved the puzzles in there, in the operating room and the laboratory, and then met one another in the hallway after opening your respective locked doors. He looked like anyone might, after only just waking up. It seemed that his brain was working as well as ever. He had managed to grasp, summarize, and understand each team's report. At any rate, I feel a bit silly for my little show of altruism. I'm sure you'll be back for me. I did hope you would come back, but I confessed I didn't think you'd be back so soon. Ace shook his head with a rueful smile. Well, we all saw each other again, and we ain't dead, so I say that's good enough. Seven smiled. Anyway, I say we get out of this creepy old place. We found the key we need. The key? You know what I just said? I'm talking about the Jupiter key. We found it in the operating room. Here. 7 tossed something small and metallic towards Junpei. He caught it and found that the object was a key. Oh good. On it, someone had engraved a symbol very similar to a 4. He looked over at June, who nodded back. It had to be the Jupiter symbol. I'm gonna let you hold on to that, alright? Yeah. Got it. Well, I've got something for you too, then. Huh? Where the fuck did you get that? Here. It's the Saturn keycard. We found it in the kitchen. Fair enough. It must have been from earlier on. I might lose it. It's probably better if you hold on to it. I'm not going to ask where you were holding it, love. That way, it won't be my fault. If it gets lost. Oh, thank you, bitch! And with that, she pressed it into Junpei's hand. He felt slightly less than honoured. As a group, they now had 3 keys that had not been used. The Earth key, which had been found in the lab. The Jupiter key, which 7 had just handed to Junpei. And the Saturn keycard, which Lotus had just handed to Junpei. Junpei tucked the new key into his pocket. June spoke up. The Jupiter key is supposed to be for the door at the end of that long, straight hallway, right? Yeah. If the map's right, then it connects to the central staircase. Then next to the stairs... Wait. The first words anyone had heard out of Clover for quite some time. Her face suggested they weren't going to be very happy words. What about door 3? Look. You saw the map, right? It's the same as door 7 and 8. It just leads us back to the big hospital room. And there's no point in seeing what's on the other side of that door. There is a point. At least, there is for me. There were tears in her eyes. She glared at 7 as hard as she could, just the same. She looked very much like a frightened puppy. I wasn't a man alive who could have resisted those eyes. 7 looked everywhere in the room, except at Clover, and muttered and coughed apologies under his breath. You're right. I'm sorry. Snake might be on the other door. Door 3. Sorry, door 3. Clover nodded once. Next supposed to speak with Ace. Very well. I'll be coming with you then. I've had a nice, long rest. I think it's time I wrap around about again. So 7, you'll help me, won't you? Uh-huh. Me? Junpei did the calculations quickly in his head. 4 plus 1 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. It looked like 7 was doing them too. At least, he gave up. Oh, damn. Well, I guess that's how it's gotta be. So I'm going with you, huh? Yes, you are. Alright, let's get moving. So it was decided that Clover, Ace, and 7 would discover what lay beyond door 3. Oh, listen, bad feeling about this! Alright, we're heading out. Be careful. Oh, I didn't think I'd be hearing that from you, Lotus. Don't let it go to your head. I'd be in trouble if all 3 of you bought it. The rest of us can't open the 9 door. Ah! The truth comes out. 7 nodded as if the answer made much more sense than pulled the lever on the red. Okay. Let's go. The door opened, and Ace, Clover, and 7 jumped through it. 6, 7, 8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door closed noisily. Alright, we should get moving too. Huh? Get moving? Where are we going? Everyone except Lotus seemed rather confused. Well, it would be a waste of time to just sit around, wouldn't it? Let me explain. I get it. We're going to see if we can do... We can get anywhere interesting using the Jupiter key. Yes. If we're lucky, we might find Snake. They're at the end of the hallway, lined by individual hospital rooms. The Jupiter symbol was engraved on the keyhole. Alright, Junpei. Open it, if you please. Yeah. On it. Junpei pulled the Jupiter key out of his pocket and slid it into the keyhole. He twisted. With a nice, sharp click, he felt the door unlock. Alright. Ready, guys? Junpei's companions nodded. He nodded back, and slowly and quietly opened the door. Inside was exactly what he'd expected to see from the map of the ship's interior. They were all in a tremendous hall, almost like a ballroom, with a massive central staircase. Great! Back to the beginning. You sure this is a good idea? What do you mean? Well, we already searched every inch of this room, didn't we? I'm asking you if you think there's any reason we came back here. Of course there's a reason. We have more keys, you plank. Of course there's a reason. Man, sometimes I can't tell if you're smart or just lucky. Huh? This. Junpei pulled two things out of his pockets. The Saturn keycard and the Earth key. Santa cocked his head to one side, like an inquisitive bird, and looked at them. After several long moments, during which it became apparent that Santa had no idea what the cards meant, June took pity on him. Don't you remember, Santa? On C deck, where we are now, there was a big elevator behind the stairs, remember? Remember? Next to the elevator there was a card, reader with Saturn symbol on it. And on A deck, the door to the left, there was a keyhole with the Earth symbol on it, I think. I keep changing her voice, oh well. So the two keys that Jumpy has should let us use the elevator door. Oh, I get it. Huh. Yes, that's right. June smiled, pleased with herself. So did Santa. Alright, I got it. Let's get started then. What do you say we split up into two teams? Lotus and I will search the Earth one, so you two can search Saturn. Alright. Sounds good. No, sounds good. Junpei handed the Earth key to Santa. They decided that their initial search should only be brief, only 10 minutes. They'd be back near the staircase once they were done. Junpei and June headed for the elevators. Sure enough, there was a card reader bolted to the wall next to the left elevator. He lined up the Saturn keycard and swiped it through the reader. The light on the upper left corner blinked to life. Great. Looks like it's working now. Alright, now, how do I call the elevator? Huh? Have you never used one? Oh, okay, fine, fair enough. There was a single button on the right of the elevator door. On the button was an upside-down triangle, the universal symbol for down. It didn't appear to be an up button. Junpei pushed it. He didn't have much of a choice. It opened. Look, Junpei! June's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety. Sweet, it opened. Let's get going. He grinned at June and stepped into the open door. It looks a bit dull to be a normal lift. Do you reckon it's a service lift? Unless, of course, he's put, like, loads of bars and shit. Metal plates over mirrors. And oh, please let there be elevator music. That would be fucking amazing. As he was about to set foot in it, he felt a hand on his arm. Oh, wait! Huh? I'm not really... I just... Oh gosh. Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? June was probably afraid of... bees! They could only go down! She was afraid because the only elevator button pointed down. That meant, of course, that the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. Thank you, Captain Obvious. As he thought about it, Junpei realised he hadn't seen elevators on A or B decks near the central staircase. All of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to the lower decks. And the floor below the one they were on, D deck, should be completely submerged. That meant... Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us, right? Yes, I guess it did. It opened straight away after you pressed the button. There was a motor noise, like it was moving, and then it opened. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, take a look inside. Junpei jerked his head towards the interior of the elevator. It's not wet at all, is it? The walls and even the floor are totally dry. Oh. You're right. Yeah. She looked around the elevator, slightly embarrassed. Well, let's test it. Test it? Yeah. Watch this. Junpei put one foot on the elevator and bent around the corner of the door until he could see the floor buttons. There were only two, E and C. He pushed the E button and jumped out of the elevator. The door slid shut and they heard the grinding of a motor as the elevator car moved down. Bye! A few moments later, they heard the sound of the elevator door grinding open, several floors below. Several? I thought it was only one. No, wait, no, D, E, okay. Fair enough. Junpei nodded to June. She pressed the elevator button again. A few moments later, the elevator returned. This entire scene was entirely pointless. What a waste of time. The door slid open, and just as Junpei had expected, there was no water to be found. See? Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest. Just a little bit. June, however, still looked confused. What does that mean? How can E-deck be safe if the D-deck's full of water? Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E-deck must be watertight, and separated from wherever the ship's been punctured. Here, let me show you. He pulled out his notebook and pen and sketched out a rough illustration. Well, that's helpful. See. So this is why the ship hasn't sunk? The shape of the inside keeps it full from filling with water? Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back into his pocket. So, I'm gonna go down and check it out. You stay here, alright? But... Come on. Just do it, alright? Just listen, woman. He gave June's shoulder a reassuring squeeze and then hopped into the elevator. He pushed the E button, and the door began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as if she was trying to make a decision when suddenly... I'm coming with you! Huh? At the last possible moment, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors. She Jackie Chan'd it. Junpei jammed his finger against the open button. But it was too late. The door had shut, and he and June were on the elevator, and it was headed down to E-deck. He was so surprised by June that he didn't even have time to think about what awaited them on E-deck. The elevator stopped, and the door slid open. They stepped off onto the floor outside of the elevator. Nothing seemed especially unusual. No fish going about their fishy business, or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. There was, however, a blowfish, or at least something that looked very much like one. June's cheeks were puffed out, and her mouth a tiny, intense frown. Oh, knock it off. It's just like I thought, this pot hasn't flooded. Come on, just look around. There's no water here. June looked around nervously and then... Pah! Exhaled. You're right. It's not flooded at all. See? You have tiny hands, woman. Look at them, they're tiny. You're like some kind of little gerbil. There's a whole lot of water. Yeah. Right on top of us. What's going to happen if the ceiling breaks? Junpei thought about it for a moment. We'll probably die. Oh no! Don't be so casual about something like that. At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can once we're done looking around down here. Lotus and Santa might already be back. Okay. Good idea. Junpei glanced around the room they'd found themselves in. Not boring enough. First thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the lift elevator from the right one. Lift elevator? Left elevator, thank you. Well, we can't go over there. Right. Then perhaps... About face! In the corner of the room that housed the elevator, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his head around the door. Oh, look. A long straight hallway stretched out in front of him. That door at the end of the hallway. There's something written on it. Yeah, let's go have a look. Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip, somewhere between a run and a jog. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was a number written in bright red paint that if they couldn't read from the other end of the hallway, they're fucking blind. 'Cause I could see that, and it was a 6. I knew it. This is a numbered door. Indeed. There was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door. Of course, with only 2 people, it wasn't much they could do about it. Alright, let's head back. Yes. June and Junpei turned and headed back to the sea deck. No lift bit, please. On the way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall. As it turned out, it was a burnt map of the ship's interior for Edek. The amount of maps you're carrying around is fucker. Oh, so you guys found door 1. They met back up with Santa and Lotus, who'd explain what they found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A deck, just like the one on E deck, and beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door. All told, they had discovered 2 new doors, the 6 door and the 1 door. It's interesting that E deck wasn't flooded. Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought. Well, we don't really know if all of E deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator. Even so, it's very interesting. You said the 6 door was there, right? Yes. Then that means Zero planned this all out. Even the sinking. That would have meant some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have cost. It would have been a ton, that's for sure. Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation of this would be that it was done by some organisation with access to a whole lot of cash. Yes, that does make sense. That thought made them all go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off at the distance. Nothing. I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here. June looked up at Junpei with large, pleading eyes. Yeah, you're right. Ace and his team might be back already. Well, Junpei and I should be able to open door 1. Huh? You guys leaving me behind? Do the calculations, and it comes to 1. Just kidding. Alright, let's go. Otis's words had all the impetus they needed. Back to the large hospital room they went. Hello. Are you home? Did your friend stuck? The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room. Hey! Where the hell did you guys go? It was 7. Ace was right behind them. And Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back. It looked as though there was something strange about. Oh no. Oh no. 7 had the look of a man who had just seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only mere moments from passing out entirely. For a moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7. What happened? What kind of question is that? 7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him, hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained. Snake was. Snake is. 7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted, but Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes and spoke. Snake is dead. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.